While going over SCEA, you may have seen from the announcement, gentlemen, the S-Mika and S-Nagisa Fest banner is about to be released soon. Skipping this banner will make it significantly harder to clear future content, which already tells you how broken these two students are. This naturally raises the question of whether there are any replacements for them. Before getting into that, it is important to understand what a Fest banner actually is. For those who may not be familiar, a Fest banner is a special banner where the SSR rate is doubled, increasing from 3% to 6%. Fest students are deliberately designed to be stronger and more versatile, essentially existing to solve your complaints about difficult content by allowing you to cheese it. However, despite the increased SSR rate, the chance of pulling a specific Fest student is still extremely low, often forcing players to spark just to obtain them. Past Fest students also return but cannot be sparked. The chance of pulling them naturally is so low that it might as well not exist. At this point, it is best to treat Fest banners as a simple 50-50 situation. You either hit or miss. Starting with S-Mika, she is quite simply the best Sonic single target DPS currently available. Her gameplay is very straightforward, as she focuses entirely on dealing massive damage to a single enemy. Normally, her X skill disappears after use, but she has a self-applied skill that costs 2e skill cost, and forces her X skill to remain on the front for 30 seconds. Every 2 uses of her X skill increase its cost by 2, and then 4, making it progressively more expensive. That said, you generally will not use her X skill more than 3 times, as the other buffs expires afterward. At that point, you simply reapply the self buff and reset the cycle. Most strategies follow this pattern, since pushing beyond 3 uses provides little value and often leads to instability. Her basic skill is an extremely strong self buff that increases Sonic effectiveness, allowing her to deal enormous damage against elastic armor. Her enhanced skill increases both attack and basic attack range, and unlocking enhanced skill plus is highly recommended, as it also boosts critical damage. Her sub-skill is even greater. All of her attacks are guaranteed to crit. She gains additional Sonic effectiveness. The effect activates immediately at the start of battle, and it lasts indefinitely. While she is best suited for elastic enemies, she also performs very well against special armor, even though the Sonic effectiveness buff itself does not apply against any other armor beside elastic in that case. On paper and in practice, S-Mika is nearly perfect. She is a Sonic single target DPS who can repeatedly use her X skill without reshuffling, always crits so there is no more building over RNG, and completely destroys elastic armor while remaining effective against special armor. Even enemies with high critical resistance cannot avoid her damage. She trivializes most grand assault bosses that require strong single target damage, including Bina, Cheesed, Hieronymus, Shirokuro, Hod, and even Yesod. The new and confusing boss whos have huge damage resistance that Wakamo conveniently ignore. While further testing is still needed, it is very likely that she will also see use in Wakabot and Goz in the future. In short, skipping S-Mika is not an option. Moving on to S-Nagisa, she truly shines when paired with S-Mika or Dihina. Her X skill functions like a simplified cost loan system. If you do not have enough cost to activate a selected student's X skill, you can still use it immediately by borrowing cost, up to a maximum of 5. The downside is that once your cost drops to low, all other X cards become unusable until cost recovers. Additionally, this effect only activates if all strikers are present and alive. If even one is missing, the ability does not work. Despite this limitation, S-Nagisa provides an extremely powerful critical damage buff, which is the main reason she is so valuable. Her other skills are situational but functional. Her basic skill reduces enemy critical damage resistance, which can be useful in certain encounters. Her enhanced skill is somewhat underwhelming at first, but once enhanced skill plus is unlocked, it significantly increases the duration of her X skill buff from 26 seconds to around 30 seconds, making it well worth the investment. Her sub-skill further increases critical damage. In terms of usage, if you are bringing S-Mika, you will almost always want S-Nagisa alongside her. She is arguably even more versatile due to her massive critical damage buff. especially in situations where Diaru cannot survive or maintain her buffs long enough. Additionally, the cost loan mechanic makes Esmika's X skill exceptionally strong. If you fail to obtain either of them, there are technically alternatives, but they are also limited. Nozomi and NY Fuka can partially fill the gap for players who miss Esmika and S Nagisa. However, keep in mind that they are not necessarily stronger. NY Fuka may be more versatile than S Nagisa, but this ultimately depends on which DPS student you plan to bring, and whether you prefer X skill cost reduction over cost loan mechanics, or higher critical damage over a lower bonus. If your past self also decided to skip those, then the solution is fortunately very simple and very painful. You should just pull Esmika and S Nagisa with your wallet, tears and copium. After that proceed to Goon over SCA. Overall, Esmika and S Nagisa are must-have fest students, intentionally designed to dominate raid content. There is also a Dihina run available, and if you do not have her yet, you should strongly consider pulling for her as well. Even though she causes extreme critical hit malding, there is still no better explosive DPS available, even with Aruis exist. Skipping this fest banner is not recommended. Get these students for the sake of your account, and then proceed to Goon over SCA. If you fail because you are too poor, then you will have to find enlightenment on your own, and still somehow Goon for SCA. As always, Godspeed.